The journey of life is often filled with sunlight and clear skies, where our path forward seems easy to see and follow. However, there are times when clouds gather and the light fades away completely. This period of deep shadow is what many have come to call the dark night of the soul. It is not just a bad day or a moment of sadness. It is a profound and often confusing time when we feel utterly lost. It is as if the map we were using to navigate our life has suddenly gone blank, leaving us standing alone in an unfamiliar landscape with no clear direction. This feeling of being disconnected from our purpose and our joy can be a very challenging experience. This experience is a universal part of being human. It can happen to anyone, at any time, regardless of how successful or happy they might seem on the outside. The dark night might begin after losing a job, the end of a relationship, or the loss of a loved one. Sometimes, it arrives for no clear reason at all, like a quiet fog that slowly rolls in and covers everything. It is a sign that something deep inside of us is changing. The old ways of living and the old beliefs we held dear no longer seem to fit. This internal shift can make the world outside feel strange and unwelcoming, forcing us to look inward for answers we never knew we needed to find. The term itself, Dark Night of the Soul, comes from the writings of a 16th century poet named Saint John of the Cross, who described his own spiritual crisis. But you do not need to be a saint or a poet to understand this journey. It is a modern experience too, reflected in our stories, our art, and even our films. A recent thriller from late 2024 used this very title to tell a story of survival and inner struggle, showing how a crisis can force us to confront our deepest fears. The core idea remains the same. It is a difficult but meaningful passage, a necessary period of darkness that precedes a new kind of light, a time for the soul to rest before it can grow again. When this darkness descends, it can feel like a profound failure or a personal punishment. We might wonder what we did wrong to deserve such a heavy weight upon our hearts. But it is important to understand that this is not a punishment. Instead, it is more like a spiritual winter. Just as trees must lose their leaves and the ground must freeze over before the new life of spring can emerge, our souls sometimes need a period of stillness and emptiness. It is in this quiet, dark space that we can let go of what is no longer serving us, making room for something new and more authentic to take root and eventually blossom in its own time. When you find yourself walking through the dark night of the soul, the world can lose its color and its sound. The feelings that accompany this journey are often heavy and persistent. Sadness is a constant companion, but it is a deep, hollow sadness that feels different from ordinary grief. Confusion is another powerful feeling. You might question everything you once believed in. Your goals, your relationships, and even your own identity can suddenly feel like they are built on sand. You might feel profoundly alone, even when you are surrounded by people who love and care for you. It is a unique kind of isolation, where you feel like no one could possibly understand the depth of your inner turmoil. This period is marked by a sense of meaninglessness. The activities that once brought you joy and a sense of purpose may now feel empty and pointless. Getting out of bed can feel like a monumental task, and facing the day requires an enormous amount of energy you simply do not have. It is as if you are moving through a thick, invisible fog that muffles your connection to the world around you. You might feel disconnected from your own body, your emotions, and your spirit. This is a time of surrender where the old self must fall away, but the new self has not yet been born. It is an in-between state, a limbo where you are no longer who you were, but not yet who you will become. During this time, it is crucial to hold on to a glimmer of hope, even if it feels impossible. Hope is not the belief that everything will be perfect, but the quiet trust that this darkness will not last forever. It is like being in a long tunnel. Even when you cannot see the end, you must keep believing that there is an exit somewhere ahead. This hope can be found in small things, a moment of peace, a kind word from a friend, or the simple act of breathing. It is important to be gentle with yourself, to allow yourself to feel the sadness and confusion without judgment. This is not a problem to be solved quickly, but a process to be moved through with patience and grace. Many people in this state try to fight the darkness or numb the pain, but the path forward often lies in acceptance. As the philosopher Eckhart Tolle has suggested, accepting the feeling of meaninglessness is the first step toward transformation. It means allowing yourself to be in the void without struggling against it. This acceptance is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of profound courage. It is like letting go of a rope you have been clinging to over a deep chasm. For a moment you are falling, but it is only in that surrender that you can discover you have wings. This period is about letting go of old attachments and ideas to make space for a more direct and alive experience of reality. If you are experiencing a dark night of the soul, it is easy to believe that you are the only person who has ever felt this lost. The isolation can be so complete that it feels like a wall separating you from the rest of humanity. However, the truth is that this difficult path is a well-trodden one. Throughout history, countless individuals from all walks of life have navigated their own periods of profound darkness and emerged on the other side. Artists, writers, leaders, and everyday people have faced these moments of existential crisis. Their stories serve as powerful reminders that you are not alone, and that this journey, while painful, is part of the human condition. Great artists and writers have often found their deepest inspiration within the crucible of their own dark nights. The painter Vincent van Gogh, for example, struggled intensely with his mental health, and yet he produced some of the most vibrant and emotionally resonant art the world has ever seen. His paintings of starry nights and sun-drenched fields seem to pulse with a life that was born from his inner turmoil. Similarly, many poets and authors have written their most powerful works from a place of despair, transforming their personal pain into universal art that speaks to the souls of others. They show us that creativity can be a lifeline, a way to process the darkness and bring something beautiful out of it. This experience is not limited to famous figures. It is woven into the fabric of ordinary lives everywhere. Think of a parent who has lost a child and must find a way to go on living, discovering a new depth of compassion and strength they never knew they possessed. Consider the person who, after a devastating career failure, rediscovers a forgotten passion and builds a new, more fulfilling life from the ashes of their old one. These are the quiet, unsung heroes who face their dark nights with courage and resilience. Their journeys may not be recorded in history books, but they are a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to heal and find new meaning in the face of adversity. The concept of this journey is so resonant that it continues to inspire modern art, including a rock ballet that premiered in late 2024. This performance used dance to explore the soul's passage from darkness into light, drawing inspiration from the same mystics who first wrote about the dark night centuries ago. This shows that the theme is timeless and universal. It speaks to a fundamental truth about our existence, that struggle is often a catalyst for growth. Knowing that so many others have walked this path before you can be a source of comfort. It allows you to see your own struggle not as an isolated tragedy, but as part of a larger shared human story of transformation and renewal. The most important thing to remember about the dark night of the soul is that it is not a final destination. It is a passage. Just as surely as the sun rises every morning to chase away the shadows of the night, a new dawn will eventually break in your own life. This emergence from the darkness is not always a sudden, dramatic event. More often, it is a slow and gentle process. One day, you might notice a small crack of light, a flicker of interest in something you once enjoyed, or a moment of genuine connection with another person. These small moments are the first signs that the inner winter is ending and a new season of life is beginning to stir within you. The person who emerges from the dark night is never the same as the person who entered it. The experience changes you in profound ways, stripping away the non-essential parts of your identity and leaving you with a stronger, more authentic core. You may find that you have a greater capacity for empathy and compassion, both for yourself and for others, because you now understand suffering on a much deeper level. The superficial concerns that once occupied your mind may fall away, replaced by a clearer sense of what truly matters. This journey, though difficult, forges a new kind of strength. Not the strength to avoid pain, but the strength to endure it and find meaning within it. This newfound strength often leads to a renewed sense of purpose and direction. Having let go of old beliefs and identities that no longer served you, you are free to build a life that is more aligned with your true self. This might mean pursuing a new career path, nurturing different kinds of relationships, or simply finding joy in the simple, present moments of life. You may discover a deeper connection to your spirituality or a greater appreciation for the beauty of the world around you. The emptiness you once felt is gradually filled with a new kind of meaning, one that is not imposed from the outside, but arises from the depths of your own experience. It is a more solid and resilient foundation upon which to build your future. Ultimately, the dark night of the soul is a paradoxical gift. It is a painful and disorienting experience that no one would willingly choose, and yet it holds the potential for incredible growth and transformation. It teaches us that light is most beautiful when we have known true darkness, and that our deepest wounds can become our greatest sources of wisdom and strength. If you find yourself in this dark valley, hold on, trust in the process. Allow yourself the grace to heal and know that on the other side of this night, a brighter, more meaningful dawn is waiting for you, promising a new beginning and a stronger, more resilient self.